Let's get started. Today we're going to make a journal cover. This is a journal cover that I made using watercolour paper. You can see it's quite thick. Using the Butterbox bookbinding tutorial that I will put a link for in my blog. You will need some backing fabric, and if you look really carefully you can see that I have traced around the open journal on my fabric. You'll also need a piece of interfacing, which I have made slightly bigger, slightly meaning just a little bit bigger, and a piece of tulle. I'm using black tulle because the theme that I have got on this journal cover is a black and white theme. You'll also need some binding tape. This is double fold bind left over from a quilt, and that will work just fine. You'll need a length of zipper by the meter, and obviously with zips on it. And the last and most important thing for this project is that you need a wide variety of threads and embellishments. I've got some merino rovings, I've got some eyelash, I've got some shiny tinsely threads here, I've got a piece of coordinating ribbon, I've got some knitting tape, I've got some small boucles and fluffy and shiny stuff, lots of glitz. Okay, it's time for the fun part. I've got my fabric and I have some interfacing on the back. What I'm going to do is put all my nice little bits on. I'm going to start with the roving, make it very thin. And just make sure you feather it out, you don't want too much bulk. And just randomly over the top. I'm not going to put much. Okay, then we're going to layer our threads over the top. So you just drizzle them over. It's very random. Try not to build up too much. Then basically just step back and have a look. And I can see that that's pretty even. The next thing you need to do is put the tulle over the top. Now you don't need to really use tulle. The reason I'm doing this is because this is a journal and it needs to be durable. So I'm putting tulle over the top. I'm not going to iron it down or anything like that. I'm going to, outside of my area that I'm going to stitch, I'm just going to add some pins. I've got the machine set up for free motion. The feed dogs are down. I've got a darning foot on. As you can see, I've got a piece of black card there to show you. I've got the darning foot on. I have black thread in the top. I have monofilament in the bottom. That's just a personal choice. And I also have a silicone mat here on my table. That helps with free motion. The first thing I'm going to do is bring up my bobbin thread. So I'm taking the needle down, bringing it up, bringing the loop through, slide the fabric forward and grab the two loops so that they're both through the foot. Then I start with the foot down. I'm going to have needle down set so that I don't fiddle much. When you start, you hold the thread in your hand just for the first few stitches, and then we'll cut it. So I've got it set on straight stitch. Let's go. We'll start. And all I'm doing, starting off pretty slow, is large circles. Obviously not prepared, needed my clippers. Obviously if you're using monofilament you need to be careful because you can't see it. Okay, let's turn the speed up and go. See how I'm holding my hands here, and basically we're just doing lots of swirls to hold it down. What I forgot to tell you was the reason the interfacing was on the back is because I'm using free motion and I don't want to use a hoop, so I need the fabric to be relatively stiff. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the rest of the free motion stitching. I'll go on with that off camera and then we will have a look at the surface before we go on. Okay, let's get this project finished. I've trimmed my fabric and as you can see there's a few patches on it. I accidentally made a boo-boo when I was cutting it out, but I put zigzag stitches in a random pattern over the top to integrate the mend, and it actually adds to it. Now, I've also cut two pieces the same size as the front cover, and I've folded over. With the fold to the inside, I'm putting those two on. And now I'm just going to stay stitch around the edge just to make sure I've got everything in the right place. That's stay stitched, and I just want to show you that you can, if adding a zipper is stressful to you, then you can actually just bind at this stage. You don't have to put the zipper in. Just let me get the book on for you, and as you can see I've got a loose thread there. Don't do that at home. Okay, so bound just like that makes a lovely book, but we're going to put a zipper in. Okay, I'm sewing the zipper on. I've got a zipper foot and I am doing less than 1/4 inch here. Basically I have started where the spine is, because we don't want the zipper to go across the spine, and I'm just sewing the zipper on. We'll stop when we get to halfway. That's about it. Okay, so I'm going to cut the zipper off here the same as I have on this side. I'm going to put arrows on. You probably can't see them, but I can, just so that I know which way the zippers go, because I'm going to pull it apart. So let's cut that. Okay, I've cut the zipper off. Now I need to undo it, but I'm going to leave it lying where it is so that we don't get confused, because it needs to go like that. Okay, so now I need to sew the other side on. I need to make sure that I match, oh well, it doesn't really matter, but you need to make sure that you've got two markings on the same place, on the bottom or the top. So let's sew on our zipper. Okay, I've put the zipper back on, and now I'm just going to do a bar tack at the bottom of the bottom of the zipper, so that it doesn't come undone. Make sure that your hand wheel to start with, just to make sure you've got it right, of course. And okay, I've got the bar tacks on both ends, and see now that we can zip up. Now that the ends of the zippers need to tuck down into the spine. Let's start near the spine here, and basically we're just going to use the foot as a guide. Be helpful if I changed it from the bar tack stitch. Go to 1/4 inch from the corner, okay, when you get to the corner you stop about 1/4 inch from and move out. Fold, if you know how to do this from quilting, then you don't need to be watching this, but fold it back so that you make the mitre, and then fold it back down so that you can sew it back down. Obviously the zipper's in the way, so it's going to affect your corner. Here. Nasty, I'm going to do a cheap and nasty overfold, so I'm going to open up my binding and fold it under, and then this one on the other side I'm going to put that inside and make sure that I have it nice and tight.